West Towson.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hola.
Hello.
This is week 3 of online learning. We already talked about expectations in a past video, so if you want to go back and check that one, look at the playlist. But right now we are starting with our week 3 walkthrough for all of our classes. The first teacher up is Mrs. Jewel.
Hi guys, it's Miss Jewel. I still miss you. And I wanted to help you out with some questions that I've been getting, and I know some of the special areas have been getting about the time that it should take you to do a lesson. So I want to walk through this week's lesson with you. I'm going to walk through the 3 to 5 lesson, but the same strategies apply to the younger lesson. Here we go. So here's this week's lesson for grade 3 to 5. We are still working with the concept of creative constraints. When an artist has to work to create with things that they don't necessarily have that they want or need. So we all know from Miss Jewel's art class that there is a lot of stuff around us that we don't necessarily think about as art supplies every day. So let's have a look. When you go through the lesson, and whether you're doing the printed paper or the purple lesson folders, the areas are the same. So I'm going through the printed one for ease. The think section, this should take you 2 to 5 minutes. You do not have to write all of these questions down. They're just warm-ups to sort of get your brain warmed up and thinking about the project that we're going to create. Learn, this section should only take you about 5 or 10 minutes. It teaches you a context for our project. It talks about artists that create in the same kind of ways, artists that might create in the same kind of ideas, and artists that inspire our project for the week. So here you'll find readings, you'll find writings, you'll find short little descriptions. You can do all of that if you want, but if you get the gist after just doing the readings on the paper, that's fine. You can move on. You can spend as much time as you want, but 5 to 10 minutes should be all you need there. Then you've got an artist informational part. You've got the artist exemplars, like Miss Jewel usually shows you up on the Promethean board. So this gives you context and inspiration. Then we're going to go down a little bit more, and we're going to start getting to the actual work of the project part. The try it part, this is where you're brainstorming for your own project, and you're really starting to get into the activity. This should only take 5 or 10 minutes. If it takes you longer to plan, you want to spend more time on that, that's fine, but you should be really trying to just keep it brief in this. You're going to go to the section that's for you, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, and you are going to apply all of the stuff you've done down to this point to your grade level project. Then here comes the end part, the show what you know. You're going to take your project, and for art, it's a little bit different than for your other assignments. You are going to take a picture of it, unless you're saving it to bring to school with the printed packet. You're going to take a picture of it, and you are going to post it to the show what you know section, just like you do other assignments for your other classes. If you have the Schoology app on a phone or tablet, it makes this really easy. You just take the picture with that device, open the app, and post it from there. It takes such a short amount of time. So this should take you only 15 to 20 minutes. We know that art projects can take a really long time, right? You asked me that question, how do we know when it's finished? Sometimes we can keep working forever. But these are not meant to be forever projects. You should be able to do your assignment, draw a conclusion, and be finished with it. So if you have any questions, please come see me in office hours. For the younger kids, yours is very similar in idea, but you are creating costumes this week. I'm very excited to see what you guys do with this.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jewel. Really appreciate that very, very clear walkthrough. Next, I'm going to go ahead and show the lower grades and then the higher grades their assignments for music in week 3. So let me turn on present. All right, so week 3, for our younger grades, our objective is to build melodies out of pitches, single individual pitch. And the real part I want you to look here is discussion. The question at the top, it says, what do you know about melody? How do different pitches change sound of a melody? So when the pitch goes up or down, what does that do to the melody? All right, then we'll go back. Oh, I'm sorry. Try that again. And the try it section. This is where you're going to take the different colored notes and arrange them in any order. If you have some markers or a crayon, you can color it in and then take a picture, or you can print it out and maybe cut out some of these. However, whatever way you want to do it. If you don't want to use the same colors, you don't have to. So maybe you don't have a purple marker at home, you could use a blue marker or a red pen. I don't care, it doesn't matter. And you're going to arrange them in different orders. But they are color-coded to match the boom whackers at our school. So if you remember playing with those long, colorful tubes at school, they're the same pitches. So is always going to be that dark green, and La is going to be purple. And then you can put them on the staff here. There's also some extra examples here if you want to look at them. You don't need to if you feel comfortable. For grades 3 through 5, you guys are doing something called Rocking with the Radio, and it's really all about ostinato. And we've done ostinato before, so you should be somewhat familiar with those patterns that repeat. It's just a simple repeating rhythm pattern. And so you can think about it and discuss, why do you think a composer would choose to repeat certain patterns in a song? And don't just tell me because it makes it better or good. There's deeper reasons. See, I can close that. Lastly, let's go to the try it. Right, you can compose a simple rhythm, just like last week where we wrote out our rhythm with the spring rhythms and the little notes, and we wrote out our whatever theme we use, different words. You can do the same thing here, and just make sure it's only 8 beats long, no more than 8 beats. And then you can play in the room with someone if you want to. I understand sometimes you might not have someone in the room to play it with you. So if you want to just do it on your own, that's great. I'm more interested in you writing your own ostinato than having a full recording, but I would be happy to watch a video. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now and turn it over to Ms. Skleitzman.
Good morning, boys and girls, or good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you are watching this. I wanted to share what we are doing in library this week. Now, over the past 2 weeks, we have been learning about first our text to self connections, how we are the same as a character in the book, maybe by the emotions or feelings or the character's actions and their words. Now, we are going to be sharing about text to world connections. Last week we did text to text, so now we're going to focus on text to world. And I'm going to start off by showing our primary grades, their resources. I do have the resources online that you can use in case you have not received your folder. There is a lesson, and it has a PDF version or a doc version that you can pull up. And then it has the stories listed below these two that you can choose to read. And it follows through each lesson. And like Miss Jewel, you only really have to, you're thinking about the first part. You really only have to do work for the show it or the practice. And that practice can be a discussion with your parents about what you're thinking, what that text to world connection is. The show it, you can send it to me via message, or your parents can email it to me. And then I would be happy to give feedback to you. So my pages are loading at the moment for the PDF, but that is where you can access the primary resources. Now for the intermediate resources, our objective is I can connect with a story by making text to world connections. There is a discussion about where do you find your news? Where do you find what's happening in the community, in the country, and in our global society? So you can participate in the discussion, you can share your response, and then feel free to comment on others. Make sure your discussion is on task. Then we have the Learn About It section, where you are learning about text to world connections, and it gives you some sentence starters you can use. Feel free to read a story and you can try it out. You don't have to write out your text to world connections. Then there is a try it, where you are using some of the stories that the county has given us. And there are directions if you need a password. You can go in and have the story read out loud to you. And then you can use the sentence starters that they have given you to discuss it. You don't have to write it down if you do not want to. That will save you some time. And then the show what you know, there is, you'll upload it. It'll be a submission and you can do it on Wixie if you feel comfortable that way. You can do it on Google Slides. You could type it. You could do a document, but you're going to share the title of the story you read. You're only choosing one story, and then you're going to make 2 text-to-world connections. So one text-to-world connection from Library in a Box that I read is that I see little free libraries all over, and I love to take and borrow books from the little free libraries. And so I'm actually hoping to build a little free library in my community. So that is what we are doing in library this week. There is also some bonus learning and anchor charts. Bonus learning is optional. It is stuff that we've done prior to the closure, so you can enjoy doing some of those activities too. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Malewski, who will introduce our next presenter.
Thank you, Ms. Gleisman. Our next presenter is Mr. Ruth.
Hey kids, it is great to see you virtually through the screen. Are you doing a good job? We're watching. All right, a little bit of virtual humor there. It's cheesy like all my other jokes. So let's move on. 4th graders, you have a really cool lesson on woodwinds this week and all the characteristics of a woodwind, which is particularly dear to me because that's the one unit we were not able to do. That was the unit we were getting ready to start. Okay, so your lesson is on those woodwinds, and 5th graders, you guys have a listening exercise this week. It's really cool. We want you to listen to a musician that plays your instrument in the band or in strings. I have provided for you a resource of suggested musicians that play your instrument, but you could really look up anyone that you are interested in. Now, hopefully you're doing a little bit of practicing on your instruments as well, although our lessons have been written. I'm still interested in you keeping your skills sharp. I wanted to provide for you the website that goes along with our method book. If you want to pause it on the screen, this is the website you can go to that accompanies our method book. I'm going to put it down now. If you missed that, just rewind a second or two. There might be some registration when you go there, but it is free. They might want like a parent email or any kind of contact info or something like that. But all of your exercises are online. You should be able to listen to them to see if you're playing those exercises right. Remember, you can also drop into my office hours to play for me, and I can give you some feedback as well. And remember, and this goes for all your special areas, remember, you can do these lessons on your Schoology pages, or you can do them on the print. We do not need you to do these lessons twice, okay? That's all from me. Back to you, Mr. M.
Thanks, Mr. Ruth. Next up, we have Mrs. Sells.
Hello, dancers. So this is for my kindergarten through 2nd grade friends. Our lesson this week is called Red Carpet Run, which I'm going to show you right now. All right. So it looks like this. It's on our Schoology page. The objective is you guys are going to be creating a traveling phrase that travels from point A to point B using movements that express aspects of your personality. So down here at the think section, these are the discussion questions that you want to think about before starting. What types of dance moves do you find appealing and fun? And when I think about my personality, what words come to mind? In the learn section, it's going to take you through the different tasks. The try section, this is where you're going to be putting together your traveling phrase. So basically, you're just going to be picking 3 personality traits that describe you, assigning movements to represent them, and then stringing those movements together to create a phrase. Down here at the bottom in the show section, these are just basically reflection questions about the process of making your phrase. And this is what you're going to be turning into me. So you'll just be answering these 3 questions, and that's the assignment you'll be turning in. Now, if you go back up to your folder, just like last week, I have some different resources for you. I have just a resource to show you kind of what personality traits are. And then I also have another video example if you need some help figuring out what that should look like. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sells. Next is Mr. Yanni.
Hey everyone. So for this week, K through 2, you're working on non-locomotor skills. Your outcome for this week is after this lesson, you will be able to demonstrate non-locomotor skills, identify the difference between locomotor skills and non-locomotor skills. There's a think it question. How do you think you'll move for a non-locomotor skill? There's a learn it section where you're going to learn how to shake, push, pull, kneel, sway, swing, turn, twist, bend, stretch, and pivot. And then for the try it section, there's some fun little activities where you're going to pretend like you're doing something and using those non-locomotor skills. And for the show what you know, we have some pictures, and you're just going to circle which ones are non-locomotor skills. So for instance, you would look at bicycling. If that's a non-locomotor skill, you would circle it. If it's not, you wouldn't circle it. For 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, there we go. Okay, so your outcome, you will be able to identify muscular strength activities in order to increase muscular strength. You have a think about it question. You'll learn about muscular strength. Then for the try it, there's some exercises that you'll do, like the mountain climber, the push-up, some squats. And then for your show it's, you will answer a few questions.
Great. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Yanni. And I think that's everything for this week. Remember, if you're feeling overwhelmed, try to pace yourself. You can always take it one class at a day, just like we normally do in school, where we have one special a day. There's no need to complete all of your specials on Monday. But if you feel like you need a little bit extra help, stop in during our Google Meets, have mom or dad message us, or send us a message on Schoology. Email works too. All right, guys, this has been another exciting adventure in our online learning for week 3 with special areas, and we hope to see you again here soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Miss you.
Bye.
Todos adelante. Adios.
Goodbye.